This is an action roguelite shooter where you fight through hell with mechanical arms attached to your back that let you equip 5 weapons simultaneously. The game is made by only 2 people and looks extremely promising. It mixes ranged and melee combat in a way that feels pretty different from most games in the space. The game's main concept is that you're a holy warrior fighting demon hordes across 60 handcrafted levels, spread through 4 acts. You pick from 10 different characters, each with their own abilities and stat distributions. Now the levels here work a bit differently than you might expect, because instead of surviving one long timer, you move through separate areas with individual objectives. Each area has its own timer and specific goals like finding hidden chests or destroying certain enemies. As you kill the demons, they drop souls, which are your currency. You have to collect these pretty quickly, because anything left on the ground gets absorbed and you lose it. Now, after clearing each area, you enter a shop phase where you spend your souls. This is actually where most of the depth comes in. You can buy new weapons, purchase upgrades for existing weapons, or grab these blessings that boost your overall stats. The shop refreshes if you pay extra. Their sophisticated weapon system is the main feature. You can equip up to 5 weapons at once, and mix melee and range options however you want. The game has about 60 total weapons, including swords, hammers, spears, rifles, pistols, launchers and more exotic stuff. Each weapon also has its own stats like damage, attack speed, range and the elemental type. You can see detailed breakdowns of how much damage each weapon dealt. After each area, the weapons can be upgraded with attachments that modify their behavior. These attachments add things like more projectiles, pierce through enemies, explosion chance, critical hit bonuses, elemental conversions and status effects. The interesting part is that if you get duplicate weapons, you can merge them together, and this creates a completely new weapon with a different name and combined stats. The merged weapon loses the duplicate but keeps most of its power. The upgrade paths can definitely get complex. Some attachments conflict with each other. For example, boosting one damage type might reduce another, so you have to think about synergies between your weapons and character. For example, if you're playing an electric focus character, then converting all your weapons to electric damage makes sense. If you stack explosion radius on a mine launcher, then those mines cover huge areas. Another important thing to know is that blessings work differently from weapon upgrades. They are permanent stat boosts that affect your entire loadout, and since blessings apply to everything, they can make or break your build depending on what weapons you're using. The combat happens automatically by default. Your weapons fire when enemies come within range, but you can also switch to manual control if you want to aim and attack yourself. Each character also has an active skill on cooldown, for example a dash that stuns enemies or defensive abilities. The enemies so far are pretty varied with different attack patterns, and there are these types that resurrect fallen demons, or can call in reinforcements. Naturally, each act ends with a boss fight. Now, most importantly of course, the game has meta progression through the Cathedral, which is essentially your headquarters. You spend silver currency earned from runs to rebuild structures that then give permanent upgrades, and these carry over between all runs, and also characters. As you rebuild more structures, you also unlock additional meta upgrade paths, and can summon new heroes to play as. The game has like 60 levels split across different locations. Each location tells part of the story through environmental details. The visual style is nice. It's dark and stylized with hand-sculpted 3D character models, and the music changes intensity based on what's happening. The runs take maybe 20 to 30 minutes to complete an act, depending on how you play. The game definitely wants you to experiment with different weapon combinations and find builds that work with your character's strengths. The developers are still working on it, but the current demo feels complete and polished. And that sentence concludes today's video. If your time was respected, a like or comment is very much appreciated.